ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlámọ̀, a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ká ṣe bí ẹni kú, káwọ́ ẹni tí ó ṣe dàrú ẹni. Ṣàṣà ènìyàn nífẹ̀ẹ́ ní lẹ́yìn, tẹrú tọmọ nífẹ̀ẹ́ ní lójú ẹni. Ọmọ aráyé abániwọ̀nrọ̀ pa orí dání wọn. Ayé ò fẹ́ ní ìfọ̀rọ̀, orí ẹni ní pẹ́ kó yẹ ni. You gotta be strong cause the world is a battlefield. Òjò láyé ó gbé ní lọ, bá ò bá mọ̀ wẹ̀. Má ṣe làlà òtọ́ láì bá dé, tread softly dákun ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ilé ayé ogun ni ó gbọ̀gbọ́n. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tí ẹ lágbàlẹ̀ ayé, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlámọ̀, a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ṣẹ̀rántí a ò mẹ́rin ìjọba ẹ̀wẹ̀kú ẹ̀wẹ̀lẹ̀. Àwọn lọ́tẹ̀ ni wọ́n dìde wọn lájànà kó lè rí inú gbọ́gbé. Àṣenìtàn bá ní ìdàrú ṣálọ̀ máa ráyé. Àwọ̀ fẹ́lẹ́ bòónù kò jẹ́ àríkùn wá ṣe bí. You gotta be wise to survive and keep your sanity. Ọjà ọ̀dájú ní ilé ayé, o ní láti mọ̀ ọ́n rà. Àyàgbé ọ̀gẹ̀gẹ̀ tó bá ti lówó, ọ̀yàn ń lọ wà lọ́jọ́ ogún dé. Ọwọ́ epo láyé ńlá, wọ́n kì í lá tẹ̀jẹ̀. Alámù a ò mọ̀nú, ẹni ayé yẹ kó rọra ṣe. Ṣọ́ra, ṣọ́ra. Pọ́sọ̀ fura, pọ́sọ̀ fi jọ́ sí iná. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ o. Tíbi tí ẹ lágbàlẹ̀ ayé, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́ o. Inú ẹni ṣàlámọ̀, a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tí ẹ lágbàlẹ̀ ayé, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlámọ̀, a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi síbi tí ẹ lágbàlẹ̀ ayé, àgbà tó ti di tó mọ̀ ńlá lòkù lọ́gbọ́n. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlámọ̀, a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ikú pàlà mi tí ọ̀rọ̀ ní ọ̀lọ́lọ́gbà ògiri. Àmì ẹ̀dá tó wọ́n ní ìlú ọ̀bàjọ́ra ìmọ́lẹ̀. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlámọ̀.
Yes, so good evening, my people. It's a pleasure to welcome you to another special edition of the Jabajantis Show. I remain your regular host, Akin. Thank you for joining me this evening from whatever part of the world you are connecting from. I welcome you specially. I especially welcome my people on YouTube, those on Twitter, and my homies on Facebook. In the similar manner, I welcome the silent listeners and the invisible listeners wherever you are. Thank you for connecting. You are still part of us, regardless of how you try to distance yourself from this show. And also those who normally catch up with the recorded version of this show. I welcome you as well. I know many of you would have loved to be on it live, but maybe it falls on a busy time for you, and or for some other reasons you're not able to connect. Thanks to technology, what you what you missed is always there for you, fresh to catch up on. So whenever you'll be listening to this show, I greet you as well. Thank you very much for being part of this family. Yes. Let me check who we will be bringing to the high table this evening. Pardon me if I sound a little bit off. I've been, struggling a little bit. I've overused myself, sort of. But yes, I'll be fine. Oh yes. On the high table again tonight is my fluffy sister, all the way from the United States of America. You know, she's so used to this VIP treatment now that she will do anything to make that spot a permanent place for herself. And I'm sure uh, I want, uh, uh, I want gentlemen, Tony soft, Tony soft hand here. I'm sure they're used to her body as well now, and giving her that lovely treat every weekend. So as usual, you know how we do it. Um, just relax yourself. They'll come and carry you and take you to. Um, I won't say take you to where you know no. You know it already now. So they're just going to give you that experience again while you know listen to the discussion of tonight. Egbon tried, but today there is no tie. So it's clear that she came in before everyone. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mo kí yín o, ẹ kálẹ́ o, tí ẹ wà dáadáa. Fluffy sister ló tún wọbẹ̀ ní èní o. Wọ́n lọ́ máa ṣe àṣàwámà pẹ̀lú mi. Ṣùgbọ́n ṣe rí touch àwọn gentlemen yẹn, ẹ gbàgbé ẹ̀. Kò ṣeé pín, ẹ fílẹ̀ fún wọn. Ẹ̀bùn mo kí ẹ o, ṣó wa pa o. Ẹ kú àtàárọ̀ gbogbo ilé ńkọ́. It's a pleasure to have you on the show as well. Right. And the rest of the people who are on the show as well, if you want me to give you that special shout out, just indicate your presence on the show, and I will give you that shout out. Otherwise, if you prefer to remain anonymous, it's all good. The most important thing is you benefit from what we want to discuss tonight. Please, as you are coming in, help me share this show on your platforms. Help me invite somebody to invite another somebody. Ẹ ṣáà mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe kí ni MMM yẹn. Ẹ bá mi pèèyàn kan, kẹ́ni yẹn tún pèèyàn kan, kẹ́ni yẹn tún pèèyàn kan, so that we can have as many people as possible connect and benefit from the discussion. It's not about the crowd. It's about lives that will be touched. For every discussion we have on this platform, I often get feedbacks from two, from three, from one person sometimes to say how the discussion has helped them. And that's the point, really. It's not a popularity contest, it's not a money making platform, even though I appreciate people who, from time to time, send me stars, which at some point Meta will convert to monetary reward, but that's still far off because òun láti ṣàjọ kó pé nǹkan kan kan tó lè sọ pé there is a threshold where they pay, so but it's fine. So I appreciate those who take that initiative to say ọ̀gbẹ́ni time tó tiẹ̀ ń filẹ̀ yìí kan tó bá pa máa lọ sanwó ni let's give him this to support him and stuff, but so I appreciate people who do that, but essentially the focus is not to earn a living out of this. The aim is to give back to humanity. This is my own way of paying my rent in this part of the earth, because I believe to whom much is given, much is required. If life has deposited certain things in me, then it's ideal that I don't keep everything to myself when there are people around who can benefit from it. I'm not trying to sound like a sage. I'm not trying to sound like Mr. Intelligent. I'm not trying to sound like the wisest man on earth, but I'm just trying to explain to you why why this platform exists, especially for people who will be connecting for the first time. What we do here is just to change mindset, inspire people in the path of change. Essentially, the limit of my ability or capability on this platform is to stir up a conversation within you, help you to see things differently, help you to consider what you've taken to be a norm, to reconsider it. I try to unsettle your mindset. And it might just be a word out of the 1 hour we'll spend here that will be useful to you. And that's enough. That's enough to turn your life around. That's enough to give you that much needed solution or peace of mind that you've been craving for. But every discussion we have here, I'm just sharing a part of what I know about that discussion. So don't think everything I've said is all that can be said, or I'm speaking from the point of authority. No, and I'm not speaking from the point of absolute. I'm not saying no one can contribute, no one can take away from it. And I also give everyone this challenge after leaving this show, after exiting this show. Reflect on everything you've heard. Try to make your own research. Perhaps there's something I've said that is a lie. You can take me up on any of it. I won't set up a platform like this to mislead people. And oftentimes, things I share on this platform, I liken them to be medication that has worked for me. Oògùn tó ṣiṣẹ́ fún mi ni mò ń tà fáwọn èèyàn. These days, we have so many influencers who come to promote products that they don't even use themselves. Somebody is promoting a slimming herbal product, and yet such a person went for um, um, plastic surgery. So you don't have to take people like that serious, because the focus point is just to earn a living. But when somebody can sell to you what they have used, what they have tried, what they have tested, then you should believe people like that. Yorùbá ní bí òògùn ẹni bá dáni lójú a máa fi ń gbárí ni, and that is essentially what um, I try to do on this platform. And if each session we have here also um, helps me as well to shed light on some other part of my life, or keep me on my toes, keep me focused, and help me to, maybe bring back to my own memory as well some of these things that I have stored somewhere. So you are not the only one benefiting from every session on this platform. I also benefit greatly from it. So yeah, that's just what I want to chip in briefly before we go ahead. It's going to be another interesting session tonight, and what we want to talk about really will be very liberating. Um, I many people are stuck. They're stuck in life not because they don't know what to do, not because there are no opportunities around them, not because um, their experiences in life is the worst anyone could face, but they're stuck because they have refused to find a closure with their past experiences. And when you don't do this, you can't move on to higher and greater um, things in life. And that is why the discussion for tonight is one I titled Self Forgiveness. Self Forgiveness. Um, as I've discovered, a larger percentage of people, myself, included. I mean, up until now, we are harsh on ourselves because of our past mistakes. Either the one we deliberately bring on ourselves, or the one that we allowed some other people to bring upon us. We dwell too much on what has happened. We beat ourselves up so much. And oftentimes that is where a lot of people get stuck. They can't move past that. We often fail to um, realize or remind ourselves every time that mistakes or making mistake is inevitable. It's we're human after all, and this terrain, this life that we are journeying through is new to us. Every day is new. Every hour is new. Every minute is new. even though I believe in um, um, this cyclicity of life where we go and return, where we go and return, where we go and return. But each time we return, it's a new experience. Yes, we can have from time to time have flashes of maybe our previous existence, but the current one is always new. And when you don't know a thing, you're just making effort as best as you can to work out that thing. So sometimes you will get it right, and sometimes you won't get it right. Sometimes your decision will be poor, and sometimes your decision will be spot on. This is part of life. We should take this as, you know, as a reality of life. We should remind ourselves of this every time, that you are not all knowing, you're not all perfect. This existence, this reality is new to you, and sometimes you are bound to get it wrong. You are bound to slip. You're bound to fall. You're bound to mess up. So if you make mistakes, you should not dwell too much on it. You should not beat yourself to death over that mistake. Because really, if you know better, you would have done better. The decision you took at that time was the best you thought um, you could have taken. Yes, on the hindsight, oh, you could have considered this. Oh, I should have asked this person. Oh, I took my eyes off this. Oh, I was just late. Oh, I should have. There is that I should have. Okay, but you didn't, and that has gone into your past now. So instead of ruminating on that past, what you should actually do is to reflect. Instead of getting stuck in regretting the mistake, what you should do is to see it as a learning opportunity. So there's a difference between rumination and ref- um, reflection. While they both look back into the past, one is focused on the situation and the mistake. It doesn't open your eyes, doesn't allow you, doesn't expand your mind into thinking about what can I learn from this and how can I move on. And that is rumination. It just it keeps you in that negative bubble of, oh, why did I do this to myself? I should have done this. Oh, I didn't do this. Blah blah blah. And it keeps you stuck there. So you're looking back, but you're looking back in regret, and you are stuck in that regret. You are in that negative, bubble of, oh, why did I do this? How did I like this happen? But reflection also look back, but in looking back, it considers what has happened, see what the lessons are to be learned from it. Take those lessons and then journey back into the present and leave the past in the past. Mistakes are not all bad. Of course, they cause us pain, cause us losses, you know, either to ourselves or to other people. Um, it sets us back, in our plans, in our goals. Yes, it's upsetting to make mistake, to slip up and stuff. But if we see this as this mistake serving a greater purpose in our lives, which is for us to learn and grow, for our self development to become better people, then we would not feel too bad that we committed that mistake. Because mistakes in life only opened your eyes to how not to do a thing. Mistakes tells you this is not how to do this thing. That's all. And so, from that point of view, the more mistakes you make, the more you know in life, the wiser you become. I liken mistakes to scars on our body. Every scar on your body tells a story. Every scar on your body points to the fact that you survived something, point to the fact that you were victorious in this battle. And there's a story behind it. Yorùbá ní ẹ̀dá tí kò bá nítàn kì í pẹ́ tán. You must have references in life because this is where you infer common sense from. You're not born with common sense. You don't learn common sense in school. You build common sense from your past experiences, from lessons you can infer from what has happened to you in the past. That's how you become wise. That's how you grow. But if you are afraid to make mistakes, if you make mistakes and don't learn from them and try to deflect the mistakes, try to blame it on other people, try to hide, try to justify what you've done and whatever thing like that, you are only harming yourself in the process because you're not learning and you're bound to repeat those mistakes again. So what is bad is repeating mistakes, not making new mistakes. Every single day you should make mistakes, new mistakes, and you should learn from them to become wiser. But when you repeat mistakes, same mistakes, then you are not learning. This is when you should be angry with yourself. This is when you should ask yourself what is really going on. And this is why this discussion tonight is important for you. Because many people have heard now self-forgiveness and they think, oh, it's just for me to say, let this go. But it's deeper than that. There are certain things that self-forgiveness allows you to do. And that is what we want to discuss tonight. Self-forgiveness is actually a process that starts from you admitting to yourself that something happened. And from there, it leads you to learning from what happened, to develop, to understand, to grow as human, and to become a better person. So you can't change the past. And the past happens like every second. What I said into the air, few seconds ago, I can't go and change it again. It's gone. So if I realize that I've said something wrong, all I can do now is to say a new one that would, correct what I said previously. And that's it. How can I go back into the past of what I've said now and try to correct it? It's impossible. So you should always let your past be in your past. But anytime you go into it, you're going there to pick a lesson from it that you will use in your journey forward. You don't go into your past to stay there and wallow in self-pity and beat yourself down. No. It serves no purpose. It serves no good for you. But the past is there for you to peep into it or to join into it with confidence. Pick one or two lessons that, you can from it and apply it in your future. That is the purpose of mistakes. And so, let's start from the definition of forgiveness. So, forgiveness really is defined as that deliberate step or deliberate decision you take to let go of that anger, that resentment you feel towards something that has happened to you, or what somebody caused to you, or what you caused to yourself. Because when mistakes happen, the emotional feeling that we immediately get from it is that of anger, is that of resentment. If it's caused by somebody, then we start thinking of revenge, how to take back our own pound of flesh. And sometimes people start thinking of, oh, how can I correct this? How can I correct this? Remember what we discussed in previous discussion, how to deal with, when everything is a mess. You need first and foremost to be patient. Don't do anything. Just calm down. Because in that moment of in that tense moment, any decision you make might even make things worse because you are not in a stable mindset. You're not calm and you can make things worse. So what you need to do is just to calm down. And so to forgive yourself or to forgive somebody is that deliberate decision to let go of that anger, that resentment you feel towards that person or to yourself. And just let things just be, admitting that yes, this has happened, I can't do anything to it, and I just want to move on from it. So as easy as the definition sounds, it is difficult to do. So I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you that it is easy to forgive people. I won't lie to you that it is easy to forgive yourself. It is tough because sometimes the level of hurt is so deep. Sometimes the level of damage is so bad. Sometimes the loss is massive, and then somebody around you is preaching forgiveness. It's a bitter pill to swallow sometimes, and that's why it calls for time. You need to give it time. Forgiveness should be a process. It's not something that you rush yourself into or somebody rush you into. It's a process, and it must be deliberate. It must come from you. You must get to that point yourself. You must know that you need it. And whether you forgive somebody or you forgive yourself, look, it is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. Sometimes we think when we forgive other people, we are absolving them of the responsibility, or we are telling them it's okay what they've done, or we are condoning their attitude and say, yeah. And some people around you will be whispering to you that, anybody saying confirm with their feel a bit, you know? And that's why sometimes I find it hard to forgive people. But what you don't realize is when you forgive other people, what you're actually doing is forgiving, is giving yourself peace, is finding closure. You think you are helping them? No, you are helping yourself. Forgiveness, first and foremost, helps the person who is extending it to another. Don't think you are you're benefiting, or you're making it easy for them. No, you're actually making it easy for yourself, because that step, that decision does something to you. It allows you to be in a state of equilibrium where you are balanced mentally, physically, where you let out everything, and you are calm, where your mental state is fixed, where your conscience is clear, where you have full understanding of how everything happened, why it happened, and what you can infer from it in terms of lessons. And you say, we're good, no, I'm good. And you move on. It's a state of emotional healing. Self-forgiveness is actually a medicine for the soul. I've said it many times. Mental battles are the hardest to fight. They're the toughest battle anyone can fight in life. When you are mentally ill, there are sort of illnesses that are harder to deal with, because it needs to be understood first. And there are really no medications to heal it, but the medications to actually just bring you into that calm state. That's all. But there are things you can do to emotionally heal. There are processes you can follow to get to that point where you don't rely on tablet to sleep, tablet to function, tablet to be coordinated, where you can get back into your right mental state. And this is one of such steps or medicine for the soul that you can apply. Self forgiveness. Now, let me quickly explain to you, or give you some things that happens to you when you don't forgive yourself. When you don't forgive yourself, you're stuck in that mental trap of anger, shame, resentment, low self-esteem. You lose your sense of self-worth. Everything people say around you gets into you because you're vulnerable. Imagine an open wound. That's how it is when you are hurt. It's an open wound. It's prone to infection. Anything flying around can get into it. You need to cover it. First thing first, you need to cover it to prevent it getting infected. And then from time to time, you nurse it, clean it, wipe it, allow time to heal it. Nature has a way of, recovering from, or restoring itself. So you see new flesh, very fragile one, very light, will begin to cover it again. And to start itching you, from time to time. If you itch it too much, you open that fragile um, skin again, skin layer. So you have to be disciplined to refrain yourself from going back to that incident in a vicious way. Anytime you see it, yes, your skin is damaged. You are angry that, oh, look at it, my flawless skin now has been tampered with. That idiot ló fi kíní há mi lára báyìí, and o lè fẹ́ lọ ṣe tí ẹ padà, but that wouldn't heal your own skin. What you've done is actually just gone to hurt another person. So when you don't forgive yourself, you leave that wound permanently open to be infected. And then this leads you. Remember, we're talking of the mind now, the mental state. I'm just using the physical illustration for you to be able to understand what I'm talking about. So when this open wound gets infected, then it leads to you suffering from mental conditions such as anxiety and depression. You're stuck now. You can't move on. You can't move forward because you are scared of, similar thing happening to you again. Yorùbá ní ẹni tí ọkọ̀ bá gbá, ọkọ̀ náà là á tún gbé lọ sí ibi tí wọ́n ti máa lọ wòsàn. So, because you've made a mistake, you're stuck. You don't want to get up and do anything anymore. You're just there, thinking, what if? Thinking, oh, this happened to me because of that, this and that. So every time they suggest this to you, that's you become anxious to live again, to do anything again. And from time to time, when you are scared of the future, the mental feeling you have, the mental sickness you suffer from is anxiety. Why come I paranoid? And when you are stuck in your past, when all you do is constantly, stay where you should have left, the mental illness you suffer from is depression. It's depression. And then from there, you just go downhill. You lose yourself. You lose your confidence. People see potentials in you, but you doubt yourself. Your self-esteem is gone because you refuse to move away from what has happened to you. this might be not even what you cost for yourself. It might be something you allowed people to do to you. Some people today can't still forgive themselves for, you know, having a relationship with their ex. They believe is the cause of their problem. And they believe if they had walked away, ayé àwọn ò bá má rí báyìí. Okay, ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Some people find it hard to even trust other people or do business with other people because of their experience from their past business partner. Okay, ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀. That is not enough for you to get yourself stuck in. Eré ṣì pọ̀ níwájú. There are still good men that you can meet. But you need to heal to be able to open yourself to meet these people. You need to learn from the red flag you ignored in the last person and keep your eyes peeled up, and peeled for, these new ones to pick up signs. Not that you project who the other person was on this new one. No, you give people equal chance, equal opportunity to prove themselves. But you let the last experience, sharpen your mind on what to look out for. But locking up yourself away and saying all men has come. Not all men has come. Some men has come. You need to understand how you contributed to what happened, not kill yourself over how you allowed him to get into your life. You just need to go through the process again. Ó yẹ kémi náà mọ̀ pé ẹni yìí ó ti show sign wípé òun wà irresponsible. But every time tó bá fẹ́ bá mi sùn gan, èmi gan tó ń gbà pé kó jẹ mí rọ̀ ni. Ó yẹ kémi náà dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé bá ṣe ń lára wa rọ̀ yìí, ó lè doyún. Tó bá dẹ̀ doyún, mi ní bí plasma tv náà, ọmọ ni màá bí náà. Bá mi dẹ̀ fẹ́ bímọ, kò dẹ̀ yẹ kí n bímọ fẹ́ni tó wà irresponsible yìí. Ó yẹ kémi gan ti ro gbogbo kinní o. Nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn o. That's reflection. That's reflection. Okay. But ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Mo rò pé à ń gbádùn ara wa ń gbà yẹn, so jẹ́ kí n. Yeah, okay, it's happened. Have a part to play in it. And that's it. So Omore, Oshepa, I have to, make it good with this kid. Kò yẹ kí n máa wá kanra mọ́mọ yẹn because ọmọ yẹn ò lóun fẹ́ wá. Recklessness mi ló jẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ yẹn wá. So every day tó bá jí kọ́ ló yẹ kó máa rọ́mọ yẹn kó máa bànújẹ́. Kọ́ ló yẹ kó máa rí wípé ẹni tó wá bá yí ẹ̀ jẹ́ rè. So ò ní lálàáfíà ọmọ yẹn náà àwọn àbá yẹn pé kí lẹ̀ ṣẹ̀wọ̀n láyé, kí lòun ṣe. That child will grow up, feeling rejected, feeling worthless and everything. Ó tún ti bà destiny mi jẹ́ nìyẹn because you cannot forgive yourself. When you are able to forgive yourself, you see this as a product of your choice, the consequence of your choice. Okay, no problem. Ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀. How do you make it good? You come to acceptance that this is a baggage you have to carry on because fún ara ẹ ló lọ dì í. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní ẹ̀lú tó bá fòjò orí ara ẹ̀ ló ń fà lé. Ó ti fa ilé ìlera ẹ̀ lórí. Yeah, so deal with it. Má fàyè ní ẹni ẹ lára because òun kọ́ ló sọ wípé òun fẹ́ yọjú ràn wá sáyé. Ìwọ ló ṣe lóòrò process dáadáa tó fi jẹ́ kó happen. You could have abstained. You could have, not had anything to do with that person. You could have protected yourself or asked him to protect himself. Or you didn't do any of this thing. Oh, fine, no problem. Because money raw man do, no problem. So on lo happen yense, you just need to find a closure. So every day of your life, you don't live in anger, in pain. Every day of your life, you don't see men around you and hate them. You don't, because of that. Wàá sọ wípé mi ní nǹkan kan ṣe pẹ̀lú ọkùnrin mọ́, obìnrin ni mo fẹ́ máa bá deal by. Because we have people who changed their sexual orientation because of their past experience. They were not born that way. Some of them experience more low sọ wọ́n débẹ̀. Because they ran away from reflecting on what happened, inferring from the mistakes, learning from it, and growing up. They thought they could hide under something else. And there are various means that when your man hide, you see, instead of facing their reality. They hide behind drugs. They hide behind all kinds of vices. When you see people behave in certain way, there's an underlying issue that they are running away from, that they are failing to deal with. For everything in life, either tó ṣe fún ẹ àbí tó ṣe fún àbí tí ìwọ ṣe fúnra ẹ, you must find a closure. Àwọn kan mi wà tó ṣe fún wa in the past that ìgbà yẹn a ní agbára láti lè gbèjà ara wa, and we feel pé nǹkan tó ṣe yẹn ló sún wa débi tá a wà yẹn. Some of these people are alive that we can go and meet and talk to if we feel we need to take that step. And some are gone. You worry insane. You can't get past what they've done to you. You need to forgive yourself, to find a closure, to cover that open wound. This is the medicine that you can take for you to start that healing process. So, self-forgiveness essentially helps you to find closure. Láti ní ìsinmi, láti ní ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀, láti lè move on to other things, to do other things, to become better. Regardless of the hurt, regardless of how long it has happened, regardless of what you think it has cost you in the journey of your life, the opportunities you've lost, you must forgive yourself. Self-forgiveness boosts your mental health. Orí tó ń ṣe ségesège yẹn, it will help you to reset it. And when you have that mental reset, wàá rí wípé you have a sharpened vision. You can do bigger things. Your productivity will improve. Your alertness will improve. You have renewed strength. There will be new fire in your bones. You have the confidence to face the next day. You are assertive now because you know what you want. You can fight your own corner now. You won't hide anymore. That fear is gone because you can tell yourself, this is the worst that can happen to me. And it's happened. And I survived it. From now on is greater things. People can see that that sharpness in you. They can see the springs in your steps, but they don't know where it's coming from. It is coming from that healing within you. It's freedom. Because unforgiveness cages people. It puts you in a cage. You're tied up. But forgiveness liberates. It loosens you. It frees you. It gives you that flow. Because you can account for what has happened as part of your journey, as part of your experience in life. The most important thing is as long as you are living, you have the opportunity to rewrite your story. Every day gives you another opportunity to rewrite your story. Every day is a blank sheet given to you. And say, okay, what you wrote yesterday that I don't like, Oyagba, Totonko. You must take the opportunity that each day gives you. Stop wasting it with unforgiveness. Set yourself free. Liberate yourself. Ẹ wo Joseph. Ìlérí ti wà. Kí ìlérí tó lè ṣẹ, àwọn kankan láti ṣẹlẹ̀. They have to envy him. They envy him to the point that they stripped him of his coat of many colors because they thought that was the thing for him. That's what is giving him that edge. But they forgot that without the coat of many colors, it has a covering. It has a bigger promise that cannot be annulled by any situation. And that's why without the coat of many colors, he survived the pit, he survived the prison, he excelled in the palace. And when it was time for him as human being to repay those who put him through that pain, because it's not easy to be kept in a pit and covered up by people who are your blood. Oh, kokoku. And then he got sold to Potiphar. Mama Potiphar ni, wá mọ́mú, ìwọ ọmọ tó rí lanky. Ọ̀gá ò kì í sí nílé all the time. Mi rí èèyàn bá mi ṣeré. Má bọ̀. Àṣà. Madam á tún ka mọ́ kọ́nà. Á tún gbéde sí, ó yá rub yansh. Á tún sá. Ìgbà tó yá madam wá wò báyìí pé náà ọmọ tó ń ṣe báyìí, ẹ jẹ́ ń fojú ẹ̀ rárẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ń bojú ẹ̀ jẹ́. He lied against him. Ní tí ò ṣe wọ́n ló ṣe. Ó di inú prison. Inú prison ló wà. Táwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ kan ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Ibẹ̀ ni ọwọ́ ẹ̀ tá ṣe láàánú láàfin tó ti kan tiẹ̀ nínú ẹ̀wọ̀n. Ọba kì í fojú rẹ́ lẹ́wọ̀n. Bí ayé àtọ̀run ṣe jìnnà síra wọn, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni palace and prison ṣe rí. Ṣùgbọ́n èèyàn kan láti ṣẹ̀ nínú prison, nínú palace, tá a rán wá sínú prison. Òun ni a lò bẹ́rẹ́ bí connection láti pàdé Joseph nínú prison, then go back to the palace when the time is right to mention about him to the king. You have to understand life has a story. People will come into your life to play certain roles, good or bad. Everything leads to an end. Ibi tó yẹ kí ìtàn yẹn parí sí náà la parí sí. Now, when there was famine and his family had to come over, ìgbà yẹn gangan ni ìdí tí a ṣe rán lọ ṣáájú tó nítumọ̀. He's meant to go ahead, be in a better position to be able to save that generation. Otherwise, they would have perished. No one will allow them into that territory. No one will give them space or land to flourish if not one of them. Nígbà tó rí àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ kí ló sọ? He said, ibi ilé ẹ̀yin èrò sí fún mi, ṣùgbọ́n Olúwa sọ di rere. He forgave himself before forgiving them. He could have blamed himself why he didn't sleep with Madam Potiphar. Could have blamed himself why he couldn't fight his brothers back. But after he had overcome that, it was easy for him to forgive them and welcome them with open arms and give them a good part of the land to stay. This is what forgiveness can do. This is what it can do. And how do you reach this point? First and foremost, it starts with determination. No one can bring you to this point except yourself. You have to come to a point where you realize that, yes, I need to do this. I need to do this to be able to move on. I need to do this to have my sanity back. You can't be talked into doing this. Yes, I'm talking to you, but this is all I can do. I can only, inspire you. I can only stir up your mind. But you must have that willingness. It is a deliberate act. It's a deliberate decision that you must take. You must tell yourself that I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of running away from this situation. I need to confront this.
Train from AB17.
I need to confront this. I can't hide anymore. So you need to sit down, get a pen and paper, and express yourself, your feeling. What am I feeling over this situation? And this is for people who cannot, take that bold step to go and, speak to expert or, have that therapy sessions. I'm telling you, you have the ability to do this on your own if you are sincere. What am I feeling? Anger, lost opportunity. Express yourself. See what you're dealing with. Express why you are that hurt. You're bringing everything to focus. Kí ló tiẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ gan-an? And that leads you to the point of acceptance. If you are able to break this down properly, you get to that point where you won't be excusing, your unforgiveness by saying, oh, tí bá ti forgive one, it shows pé mo condone nǹkan tó ṣe nìyẹn. Tí bá forgive one, it shows pé mo gọ́ra mi nìyẹn. It shows pé mo accepting pé ẹni tó ń ṣe yẹn wà okay nìyẹn. These are the excuses we give why we don't want to forgive. Because we think we are admitting that what they did is good. We are uh, we are letting them go, easily. No, that is not what it means. It's not saying you are letting them off the hook. It's not a sign of weakness. Because ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ ń sọ fún yín pé àwọn láti gbẹ̀sùn láti ṣe báwọn láti wètò òde wọn láti ràn kankan mẹ́rin, ìyẹn ló ń jẹ́ kó rò pé o strong. But àwọn nǹkan tó ń sọnù mentally, àwọn nǹkan tó ń sọnù, speed tó ń reduce fúnra ẹ̀. When you focus on doing this thing, exerting your energy on these things, it's a lot. You can use that same energy for greater things. So, forgiving yourself or forgiving others, it does not suggest you're condoning their behavior, but rather it's helping you to understand. Okay, kí ni tí mò ń feel gangan? Then it takes you into a reflective mode. No rumination now, because we don't want you to get there and get stuck in the problem, get sucked up in it. No, reflection is just you going back, looking at everything that happened, because what you want to pick from it, first and foremost, is how you played a part in this. And if there's no part of yours in it, okay, you need to tell yourself that. It's a point of taking responsibility, if there is any. And the only time that I think we won't have a part to play in whatever happens to our life is when we are still toddlers. Àwọn kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa ń kékeré, when nígbà tá a lóye tá a lágbára tó yẹ pa depend lé àwọn tó yẹ kó jẹ́ guardian àbóbí fún wa and stuff like that. Those are the things you can say you have no responsibility to admit, and you must tell yourself that. And if that is your situation, why are you stuck in that? Why are you stuck in something that you have no control over? Why don't you forgive yourself? Why don't you move away from it? Àwọn tó ń dẹ̀ ṣe fún ẹgbàá yẹn, why don't you look at it and say, okay, bí wọ́n ṣe mọ̀ wá wù lọ́wù yẹn, èèyàn yìí gbọ́n jọ ọpọlọ ẹ̀ lọ. I think I remember in 2001 or so, èèyàn kan ṣe nǹkan kan fún mi lójú ẹlòmíì. We were in the church, and then ẹni tó ṣojú ẹ̀ yẹn, after that person left, came to me and said, ó dẹ̀ ń wò bẹ́ẹ̀. I said one statement to that person. Mo ní èèyàn ò lè hùwà jọpọlọ ẹ̀ lọ. That is his best ló ṣe yẹn. Ìtọ́pọlọ ẹ̀ gbé òun ló ṣe yẹn. If I respond in the same manner, kí la fi yàtọ̀? And that guy stood looking at me like this. I don't want to mention his name. He might even be on the show listening now. I don't know if he is or not, but mi ìgbàgbé situation yẹn, because òun wò báyìí pé Jasper, ó yẹ kí n react báyìí. That's the name they call me then. But I just told him, èèyàn ò lè hùwà jọpọlọ ẹ̀ lọ. That's the best he can come up with. So if I respond in like manner, yàtọ̀. And the guy just kept staring at me like this. So when you borrow from this approach and look at what people did to you in your period of innocence, when you look at what people did to you because wọ́n fi hàn pé àwọn lágbára jù ẹ́ lọ, wọ́n fi hàn pé wọ́n mọ̀ èèyàn jù ẹ́ lọ, wọ́n fi hàn pé àwọn lówó jù ẹ́ lọ, wọ́n fi hàn pé àwọn fipò jù ẹ́ lọ. All you need to do is just to, see from that perspective and say, you know what? This is the best they can do. Ìtàn mọ̀ nìyẹn, ìtọ́pọ̀lọ wọn gbé, tí làákàyè wọn gbé nìyẹn. I can do better. Bó jẹ́ kó o kàn fi ayé wọn fi kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lásán wípé okay, ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́kọ́ mi o. Wípé going forward, tèmi bá dérú ipò tán wà yìí, I should do better. Because there's no point repeating the bad behaviors of other people. Just because they behave badly to you, ìwọ náà wá gbé pé wo ẹ̀yin gẹ́ gbà. Because that's what some bosses do. That's what some leaders do because they had it tough before they got to that position or to that status or to that, level where they are. They feel everybody coming behind them must also go through that torturous experience because they never learned anything from it. Wọ́n lè gbẹ̀san lára àwọn tó ṣe fún wọn, wọ́n fẹ́ gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó innocent. You haven't learned nothing. You haven't forgiven yourself. Oró sì wà nù ẹ ló jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. O ò dẹ̀ dáríjì àwọn tó ṣẹ̀ ẹ́ náà because tọ́mọ irú wọn bá gba ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ kọjá wàá ṣe wọ́n jákàjàkà. But if you truly forgive yourself, you've reflected on the situation, you've come to understand what happened, you've come to that point of acceptance, you can infer from it. Okay, tèmi bá dérú ipò yìí o, màá ṣe better. Mi ní fìyà jẹ aláìṣẹ̀, mi ní fẹ̀tọ́ wọn dùn wọ́n because experience yìí kò dáa, kò dẹ̀ yẹ kí ẹlòmíì náà tún tọ́wò mọ́. Ó lè jẹ́ torí nǹkan tá a fi jẹ́ kó experience ènìyàn for you to do better to people, for you to correct that flow. Ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa oró burúkú yẹn là ń gbé lọ. Ìwọ ò correct cycle yẹn, ò break cycle yẹn. Ìdí tá a dẹ̀ fi jẹ́ kó gbabẹ̀ yẹn kọjá ni kó lè break cycle yẹn pé nǹkan ṣe fún mi yóò dáa ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí mi ò lágbára ni kò sí nǹkan tí mo lè ṣe sí. Ó dárin àjò mi rú o, but I can make it good. Why? Because gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó bá máa bá mi pàdé, they will not taste this bitterness. Wàláì, ó fulfill láyé àtọ̀run. Ládá dẹ̀ wà fún ẹ tó bá lè ṣe. But if you cannot reach that point, tó ṣì ń sá pamọ́, tó ṣì di oró yẹn sínú, you can't do this. And ìdí tí self-forgiveness fi wà gangan ni. It's not that you are letting people go. It's not like you are showing weakness. No, this is the reason. So when you accept the situation, tó wo ẹ̀bi ẹ̀ ń bẹ̀, many of us máa lẹ́bi or máa ní contributing negligence to whatever happens to us in our, from the ages that they take up responsibility. Because it's your life. You must guard it jealously. For you to have, let certain things slip up, tó fi lè ṣe nǹkan tó ṣe sí yẹn, ó gbọ́dọ̀ yọra ẹ kúrò nínú scenario yẹn and sorry, no question yẹn, and focus on other people alone. No, you have a part to play, and until you learn this, you'll keep repeating that mistake. So this step helps you to do that. You accept what happened. After that, you start to take responsibility. In taking responsibility, you are now learning lessons from it. Okay, mi bá má ṣe léyìí o, next time má ṣe léyìí o, next time tó bá ti rí sign yìí, tètè mọ̀ pé báyìí ló ń lọ. This is how you learn and become better. You must accept your responsibility. O gbọ́dọ̀ sá, o kàn gbọ́dọ̀ blame àwọn èèyàn nìkan. After that, you now have to be kind to yourself. Because now, o ti rí wípé yes, I had a part to play in this thing. Kì wá ń ṣe pé kó wá padà, wá máa bínú síra ẹ. This is where you would now go to what I said in my introduction. Accepting that mistakes are part of life. Accepting that this is a new terrain to you. Orin ayé rí, bó tiẹ̀ ti wá rí, this is a new experience. And when it is new to you, mọ̀ tán. Òkùnkùn láyé, àlejò làwa ọmọ ènìyàn. Yorùbá ní ilẹ̀ tí ò tójú ẹni ṣú, ó ṣòro ó rìn lóòkùnkùn. So bó ṣe ń já sí kòtò, wà máa já sí gegele until you are familiar with that terrain. Ọ̀nà tó bá ti wá mọ̀ yẹn, wà á rìn gan tó bá dijú. Ọ̀nà tó bá ti mọ̀ yẹn, wà á mọ kòtò tá ń yà fún, tá yà fún. Gbogbo ìgbà tó ń já sí kòtò yẹn, o kàn ní máa bínú sọ́ra pé àṣojú ẹ fọ́ ni, ṣé o ríran ni, ó tiẹ̀ kì í ṣe pẹ̀lẹ́ rùn. A máa kíra ìpẹ̀lẹ́ ni, pẹ̀lẹ́. Ni màá mọ̀ pé kòtò yẹn wà bẹ́ẹ̀. You have to be kind to yourself. The same kindness you will extend to other people. If you say you forgive them, you must extend it to yourself. That, well, I did what I think was best for me. I took what I thought was the best decision I could take in this circumstance. But unfortunately, oyè mi ò kún tó, so it's all right. I learn from it and I move on. Up till èní yìí, I think a situation where I had to move on from whatever happened and learn from it. I don't just move on alone. I know what I need to do next time better. It's a daily thing. If I can't snap up out of that situation quickly and, reflect, understand what happened, learn and move on, it will ruin my entire day. It will ruin the entire day. I will not be productive. Because entirely draws around the gun because I'll be spreading negativity. But the moment I can, quickly tell myself, well, I guess I was going to fuck off, and if you have to get angry quickly, understand what happened, and move on. Then you move to the next stage where you begin to think of restoration. How do you bring yourself out of that situation? Sometimes you are entangled in this situation with some other people. How do you let them go? Sometimes you have to make restitution, you have to make some returns, you have to make some exchanges. How do you bring yourself to this point where you do whatever is necessary to make that situation good. Because you must restore yourself. Mistakes is about pé èèyàn yà kúrò lọ́nà. So tó bá ti realize pé ọ̀nà bí kọ́ ló yẹn yà sí, you don't keep going on that path. You have to come back to the right path to continue the journey. So o kàn lè realize pé ọ̀nà bí ni mo ṣe mistake tí mo yà lọ gbà o, jẹ́ máa bá lọ. Correct rẹ̀. No, kò ń correct rẹ̀. Okay, sometimes téèyàn bá ń lo sat-nav, even sat-nav gan, wàá rí wípé ó máa ṣe nǹkan tó ń pè ní recalibration. And either ask you to make a U-turn, go left or whatever, return you back to the same. Tó bá ti ṣí tọ́nì yẹn, wàá rí pé o ti ṣí, kíní yẹn á ti show wípé ọ̀nà yẹn kọ́, journey time yẹn gan tún ti change. Distance yẹn á tún ti pọ̀ sí because ti gba tó yẹ kó gbà. But the sat-nav is frantically working to see what other exit or route it can, plot quickly to return you back to join that ọ̀nà tó yẹ kó máa gbà lọ tẹ́lẹ̀ again. And this is what this stage does to you. Restoration. If you have to go find some people and talk to them, do it. If you have to apologize, do it. If you have to return some things, do it. And if it is yourself as well, you have to do everything that is necessary to ensure that you are back on track. And then you move to the stage where you learn from the whole experience and tell yourself, this is what this whole thing has taught me. Now let's move on and do better. That's the whole thing about forgiving yourself of mistakes. Getting to the point where you can tell yourself, this is what I need to do better going forward. And listen, when you can get to this point, that is the point where the wound has healed. Àpá yẹn wà ń bẹ̀ o. But àpá tó lè gbá nǹkan mọ́ tí wàá máa ṣe báyìí tó dẹ̀ ní feel pain ni. Toró jiná dénú. Àpá tójú ò ní tì ẹ́ láti fi hàn àwọn èèyàn ni, because there is a story behind it. And you should be proud of showing off your scars. Because the more scars you have on you, the wiser you should be in life, ideally, if those scars teaches you any lesson. So every time you see that scar, you don't get angry anymore. You don't get, you just look at it and smile. The experiences run through your mind again, but there's no anger, no bitterness. You just move on. Only one penny ìbàjẹ́ dẹwà. Yes, your skin is meant to be flawless, but yeah, this is a mark. But the mark somehow adds a bit of, beauty to your skin. It looks as if it's something you deliberately put there because you've come to the point of acceptance. You understood why it happened. You've learned from it. You've moved on from it. There's a closure. You're not suffering from it. And you're in a state to even talk about it to people or even help other people overcome such situation in their life. This is everything I have to share with you tonight. on self-forgiveness. It is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. If you have been struggling on so many issues, you find yourself stuck in your past, you blame other people over what has happened to you, and you don't seem to find peace, then try and practice self forgiveness. Start by reflecting on what happened. Express the feelings you're having and go through all these things that I've mentioned. But first and foremost, you must convince yourself that this is something you need. This is something that is necessary for you. Now, to close this, I must mention that self forgiveness is not ideal or would not benefit one category of people. And that category is um, the group of people that um, how do I put this? People that unfairly blame themselves for something that they are not responsible for. Àwọn kan wà wọ́n undergo abuse. Abuser wọn ó ń gaslight wọn táwọn gan fi ń ríra wọn bíi pé àwọn ni àwọn wà at fault. Àwọn kan wà ẹni tán bá níṣù àbáwọn tán bá níṣù àbí àwọn fún ara wọn, wọ́n believe pé kálàáfíà lè wà, kí kó má sí ìjà, kó má gbọ́n sí omi òtó, gbogbo nǹkan tí wọ́n jẹ̀bi fún ni wọ́n máa admit pé àwọn jẹ̀bi tí wọ́n dẹ̀ máa apologize fún. Ogun ọ̀tọ̀ lẹ̀yin yẹn ń jà o, ogun tiyín ó yàtọ̀. Ogun tiyín ó yàtọ̀. Because in the first place, you shouldn't be dealing with that. You should not be blaming yourself for something that you are not responsible for. You shouldn't be feeling ashamed or guilty for being abused. You shouldn't blame yourself or feel ashamed for working under a terrible boss. You should not be taking responsibility for their own action. So, if you belong to this category, what we've discussed tonight will not work for you, because ẹ fẹ́ máa fi Nixodam ẹ fẹ́ máa fi treat cancer ni. So, first and foremost, you need to sort out, that aspect of your life to understand that what you are forgiving yourself for is something that you know you have direct responsibility over. It's something that after tracing it, you see that yes, there's something I can learn from this. And yeah, ni èyí tó wà concern. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have tonight. Erelu, mo kí yín o, ẹ káalẹ́ o. Kò ní sú yín, kò ní rẹ̀ yín o. Ẹ kú àtàárọ̀. Ẹ kú gbogbo ìgbà wa o. God bless you. It's a pleasure to have you on the show tonight. Tanime Tunki. Yeah, last week, later Timon checked through comment. I saw Iyawo Olowo Shibi's comment. She informed me that she's in a VVIP corner. But I didn't pick that up until I finished the show. So probably she's there again tonight. I greet you especially my sister. It's a pleasure to always have you in that corner. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Right. Yes, that's about it for tonight. My brother, I greet you. Ayotunde Adebayo. Good evening, sir. Thank you for connecting again tonight, and thank you for your kind words. Yes. Ẹ̀bùn Jaspiro nìyẹn, orúkọ yapa, orúkọ pọ̀. Ọ̀tọ̀ làwọn tó mọ̀ mí sí Jùpá, ọ̀tọ̀ làwọn tó mọ̀ mí sí Jasper, ọ̀tọ̀ làwọn tó mọ̀ mí sí Inúfẹ́lẹ́. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway. Àgàlì náà tún wà ńbẹ̀. Àwọn tí UBA nìyẹn. UBA ní Àgàlì. Ifẹ̀ ní Jùpá. Àwọn tolúbàdàn ní Jasper. Gargantua. Àwọn tí Kwara Poly nìyẹn. Yay! Orúkọ yapa. So depending on what you call me, mo ti mọ ibi tí a ti mọ́ra wa nìyẹn. Kó tó di pé a tún wá jẹjí o. Yeah, Oga. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to me tonight. Engineer Elijah, I greet you, my brother. Thank you for connecting tonight. It's a pleasure to have you. Yes, I hope tonight's show has benefited someone here tonight, and you have something to take away from here to work on. We are all work in progress. Kò sẹ́ni tó ti débẹ̀ tán, kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó máa débẹ̀ tán tí a máa fi jáde. Because ayé ò ṣe é rí tán. We know in part. We see in part. So ìwọ̀nba tá a bá lè ṣe, ìwọ̀nba tá a bá lè mọ̀, ìwọ̀nba tá a bá fún wa lórí ọ̀fẹ́ láti rí, ẹ jẹ́ ká mú lò. Apply it and move on. It's not easy o. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́rí tí mo kàn sọ lálẹ́, mi ní parọ́ fún yín pé báyọ̀ rọrùn láti ṣe. It is not. But it is possible. It will take time, give it time. But àìmá ṣe yẹn ni wàhálà. Àìmá ṣe yẹn ni wàhálà. And once you can get it right once, at the template fún ẹ láti lè apply so that kẹ́ntìn tó build up dé level wípé olóò hate èèyàn kan wà á ti mọ̀ bó ṣe máa level up gbogbo kinní yẹn wípé okay n tó pàwápọ̀ rẹ̀ n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ rẹ̀ this and that, and you focus on that, ìyẹn lẹ́dẹ̀ máa iron out rather than wípé kẹjàjà wípé kó kú pé ibi tí n bá ti rí màá pa ìjà adìẹ dà mí lóògùn ni màá fọ́ lẹ́yìn òun àti àwọn àrọ́mọdọ́mọ ẹ̀ ìjà ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní kò wọ́ ọ̀tẹ̀ wọ́n gan ò ní nísinmi. Ẹni tó bá set out, when you set out on a journey of revenge, you must dig 2 graves. One for the person you are going to take revenge on, and one for yourself. That's a fact. Thank you very much for listening to my nonsense tonight. We will meet again next week Friday, God willing. Until then, ìbàjẹ́ ayé ò ní kàn yín o, ẹ ní dìdàkudà láyé o, ọkàn yín á balẹ̀. Ó dàárọ̀.
Ẹ̀sọ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà ọ̀rẹ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tirẹ̀ ládàlẹ̀ ayé, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ọ́la. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣálámọ̀, a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ká ṣe bí ẹni kú, káwọ́ ẹni tí ó ṣe dàrò ẹni. Ṣàṣà ènìyàn nífẹ̀ẹ́ ní lẹ́yìn, tẹrú tọmọ nífẹ̀ẹ́ ní lójú ẹni. Ọmọ aráyé abániwọ̀nràn pa orí dání wọn. Ayé ò fẹ́ ní ìfọ̀rọ̀, orí ẹni ní pẹ́ kó yẹ ni. You gotta be strong cause the world is a battlefield. Òjò láyé ó gbé ní lọ, bá ò bá mọ̀ wẹ̀. Má ṣe làlà òtọ́ láì bá dé, tread softly dákun ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ilé ayé ogun ni ó gbọ̀gbọ́n. Ẹ̀sọ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà ọ̀rẹ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tirẹ̀ ládàlẹ̀ ayé, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ọ́la. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣálámọ̀, a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ṣé rántí a ò mẹ́rin ìjọba ẹ̀wẹ̀kú ẹ̀wẹ̀lẹ̀. Àwọn lọ́tẹ̀ ni wọ́n dìde wọn lájànà kó lè rí inú gbọ́gbé. Àṣenìtàn bá ní ìdàrú ṣálọ̀ máa ráyé. Àwọ̀ fẹ́lẹ́ bòónù kò jẹ́ àríkùn wá ṣe bí. You gotta be wise to survive and keep your sanity. Ọjà ọ̀dájú ní ilé ayé, o ní láti mọ̀ ọ́n rà. Àyàgbé ọ̀gẹ̀gẹ̀ tó bá ti lọ́wọ́, ọ̀yàn ń lọ wà lọ́jọ́ ogún dé. Ọwọ́ epo láyé ńlá, wọ́n kì í lá jẹ̀jẹ̀. Alámọ̀ a ò mọ̀nú, ẹni ayé yẹ kó rọra ṣe. Ṣọ́ra, ṣọ́ra. Ẹ̀sọ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà ọ̀rẹ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ o. Tíbi tirẹ̀ ládàlẹ̀ ayé, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ọ́la. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o, ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́ o. Inú ẹni ṣálámọ̀, a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sọ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà ọ̀rẹ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tirẹ̀ ládàlẹ̀ ayé, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ọ́la. Ilẹ̀kùn bá jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. lọ́gbọ́n ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o ayé gbẹ̀gbẹ́ inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀ a ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni.